Nick of Time show. Go check out that show. It's a great show. It's a great show.
New York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis and the Nick of Time show. Here giving you that Knicks off just in the nick of time. And it's time to talk Knicks basketball. We want to talk about everything that happened during this little playoff run. But before we do that, we got to talk, man, to our very special guest who just joined us today. You already see some familiar faces, right? We know we already got the Latin assassin, Lee Escobedo. We got Al here. But we want to introduce a very special guest here today, my guy, XJ from Locked On Knicks and Hot Hand Theory. What's going on, XJ?
Yo, what's going on, my guys? I'm so excited to be on here chopping it up with y'all. Yeah, just looking forward to talking Knicks and super excited to get the invite to hang out with you guys. So let's go.
Yeah, man. But first and foremost, before we even start the show, like, how did you even get into the Knicks content creation space and even slide into the Locked On Knicks space? Because Locked On Knicks is a very prestigious, well-known Knicks space, or just sports space that's been around for a very long time.
It was a very random route. I never intended to do content regarding the Knicks or really NBA at all. What happened was I used to watch Knicks Film School a lot, and I was a commenter. So I would just drop YouTube comments, seeing, you know, my perspective on what they're talking about, what I see in the game. And then Andrew Claudio, producer for Knicks Film School, basically just reached out to me cold off of the comments and was like, hey, man, would you want to just do content? Like, you seem like you have really interesting ideas and, you know, you seem like you have a lot of good thoughts. Would you want to do on-camera stuff? And I was like, sure, yeah, I'll do it. So I popped on there. I would have a couple of appearances here and there. Started to enjoy it. Started to feel like I was getting my footing. Eventually branched out, did my own thing with Hot Hand Theory, which is my YouTube channel with my co-host Jeff. Started doing that. And then, you know, I had a couple of guest appearances on Locked On Knicks with Gavin Shaw, who's my partner over there right now, and Alex Wolf. And then Alex kind of wanted to move on from Locked On Knicks, and they were like, yo, XJ, you're kind of like the first name in line for someone who could replace Alex when he goes. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. So that's basically the journey in a nutshell.
Shout to Alex too, man. Alex is
shout out to Alex.
Good dude, dog. There's a lot of people in this content space. I haven't spoken to him in a long time. I know we haven't spoken in a long time, but Alex is a really good dude. Shout out to Alex.
Alex is a dope guy, man. He literally reached out to me. He sent me this huge long DM about like everything I needed to know about Locked On Knicks and like why he thinks I'm a good fit. And I'm like, man, you're putting in this much work. You're out the door. You have your foot out the door, and you're like trying to bring other people up with you. Like, really good dude, man. I really appreciate and respect Alex a lot.
Yeah, short story about Alex. When I first got into the content space, and I was like, yo, Alex, I don't understand. Like, how do you find these clips that after the game that kind of like commemorate the moment? And like, I don't understand that process. So he was like, yo, all you gotta do is go here. There's a link here that connects with the stats, and then boom, it's like the stat you're looking for is connected to the play right there in the game. I was like, yo, Alex, man, thank you. I would have never figured that out on my own. So yeah, always shout out to Alex, man. Great dude.
Great guy.
Yeah, great dude. But also, yo, you already know, man, I'm gonna do my official intros of the Latin assassin, ESPN contributor, posting and toast contributor, Bleacher Report contributor, my guy Lee Escobedo. What's good, boy?
Appreciate you, Jay. Great to be here with you, my brother Al from Harlem. Big ups, and a special welcome to XJ, Locked On Knicks, Hot Hand Theory. May, we got to give you some flowers while you're here, brother. I want to give you flowers. I want to tell you why I appreciate and like your content so much is two reasons. One, I think you're one of the smartest people on Knicks Twitter. You know, there's a lot of guys that are and women who are able to talk ball. Ebony, be the motivator here on KOT. Uncle Freezy, Steph from Dope Soul Sports. You are one of my favorites because I feel like a lot of guys can get lost in the nomenclature of hoops, and I'm one of them, right? I never were able to put a ball through a hoop. I tried and failed miserably. You can just look at me and tell that I'm going to be a stat nerd type. And that's okay. Everyone kind of has their entry point into it. But most people who are able to talk X's and O's do it because of muscle memory. That's not me. I had to learn. I had to read. I had to research. I had to watch a lot of ball. And I've been watching a lot of ball for 25 years. But even when I try to talk X's and O's, I can
frozen. Is everybody?
Nah, I'm hearing Lee pretty well.
Good. Yeah.
I think even when I try to talk basketball, I can lose my audience because I'm working so hard to try to research and make sure I'm saying the right thing. What I love about you is you distill it in a way to where anyone from anywhere can hop in a conversation randomly and catch up in time to understand the thesis of your basketball argument. That is very, very hard to do. I think it makes you a very elite content creator. Second reason I love you so much, and I'm a big fan of yours, is because you are a young Black entrepreneur that is really not just making their way in a very tough industry, but once you're here, you're also opening doors for others. Jeff is an incredible co-host. The chemistry you guys have is something I try to emulate with Jay Ellis and I when I'm on the pod with him, because to me, you guys are the gold standard, and he's just as much of a badass as you are. But I love how you've been bringing him on Locked On Knicks as well. That really shows the type of teammate and friend you are, but also what type of professional you are. You know, as your rise continues to grow, your ego isn't going to go along with it. Your humanity and your humility will, and that makes me a lifetime supporter of you, bro. I'm very proud to have you on the channel.
That's really, really kind words. It's super humbling. Yeah, I appreciate you saying all that, Lee. And it just means a lot because like I said, I'm just trying to figure out my way through everything. Like I don't know everything, but I'm definitely just like, I study hard and I try to figure things out and try to help other people out when I can. So for you to say all that, like, you know, like I said to you before we jumped on the show, I don't really even think of myself in that way. So it just means a lot for you to kind of observe from afar and have appreciation for those kinds of things. So yeah, it just means a lot and definitely means a ton from, you know, people I respect in the game doing it right now. So thank you so much.
You bet, bro. While Jay Ellis, I think he thought I was frozen. He ended up being frozen.
He was frozen.
But there's anyone I'm not worried about being able to hop back in. It's that guy. I want to ask you a starting question because we've all on this channel have told our story, right? It's almost like your testimonial about how you became a Knicks fan. What was that opening moment for you?
What?
I was holding on to Fort Jay. I was asking XJ how he became a Knicks fan initially, like whether as a kid or recently or as a teenager.
Yeah, honestly, so it was definitely as a kid. Like I was just indoctrinated as a Knicks fan. I was born in the Bronx, raised in the Bronx. But my earliest kind of memory was really the 1999 finals because I was really just like starting to watch closely and obviously as a little kid you're not really engaged like that, but you're just rooting for the thing that your dad wants to happen, right? And so like I'm just there just like rooting hard. And, big shots. Allen Houston was my guy. Everything that they were doing, Latrell Sprewell, like those were my guys, obviously. And then, in 1999, like the moment when Sprewell is under the basket and he's got the Twin Towers, Duncan and Robinson over him and he can't get a shot off and the game's over. And it's like, that was devastating to me. And it was just like, I was just hooked at that point. Like, and it's weird because it's almost like gambling, like almost like the losses make you like grind harder for it. You're like, nah, yeah. I'm really invested now. Like you win and you're like, oh, that's cool, whatever. You lose and you're like, nah, I'm gonna come back to this. And that's how it was. That was like the moment for me. And I was just like totally locked in since then. So definitely I would say started just out of, family and stuff like that. But then I really got entrenched in 1999 for sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah, XJ's winning points in my brain. Allen Houston definitely my one of my favorite Knicks of all time for sure. Allen Houston. Everybody knows from when I was young. Had that number 20 jersey everywhere I went. So extra points for that.
He used to get so much hate too. Like I didn't understand it at all. I'm like, this is the smoothest dude, like the nicest jumper, probably still like that I've ever seen. I just didn't get it really. Honestly, I love Allen Houston.
Yo, today
I was more of a Sprewell guy, if I'm being honest. I like
Spreewell's nice.
Yeah, he was not. The dude had no left hand whatsoever, but no one could stop him going right. It was crazy.
Nah, that's a fact. They like the tenacity of Sprewell, but 50. Yeah, Houston was a 50-50-90 guy, man. That's why I loved it.
H2O, yeah, he was fire.
Exactly. Always gonna have love for H2O. He can suit up today, man.
If we need to shoot word.
Yeah, shooter, somebody get injured. I know OG's down. He can shoot up today.
You say I space the floor no matter what. You got to space the floor.
Exactly. Invaluable floor spacers. Invaluable. All right. Well, let's get to it, man. I got a lot of questions to get to. We're gonna talk about this playoff season and its success in its entirety. So I can't wait to get through it. So listen, man, the Knicks have done well these playoffs, and that's been an understatement, right?
I was just about to say that's an
Understatement, right? Number 1 in net rating in these playoffs. Number 2 in offense in these playoffs. Number 3 in defense in these playoffs. Sixth in assist percentage in these playoffs. Number 1 in rebound percentage. Number 1 in 3-point percentage. Number 1 in field goal percentage. Wow. 3rd in assists. And only person who's ahead of us who's still active right now is OKC, who's first. So complete turnaround for these Knicks. Even numbers that we wanted to have last year, like assists, where we weren't really on the top of the league in assists, we were doing that this year. But it seems like it's been a process, right? From the beginning of the season to the playoffs till now. So I want to start off getting XJ's thoughts about this. What do you think was the process of getting to this point? You know, because it wasn't always smooth. We started off trying to learn the Mike Brown system, and we started off slow with the Hawks, but all of a sudden everything is clicking. What did you see and about the process that got us from point A to point B?
Oh man, it was for sure a circuitous, roundabout process for Mike Brown going throughout the season. I would say, you know, coming into the season, I was starting with an open mind for sure, and I was just trying to kind of see what Mike Brown had to offer. And early in the season, I was so excited about what I saw. I think that was the beginning of, establishing what Mike Brown ended up doing moving forward into the playoffs, and like, you know, having Karl-Anthony Towns as the hub and having Jalen Brunson play off ball a lot, like all of that stuff would kind of started early in the season. I was so excited. I'm like, man, these are the things that we wanted to see last season, experimenting with lineups, rotations, all of these things, like not just playing one particular style, not Jalen Brunson hero ball. Like we saw some of the stats on Brunson's, like, you know, average time of possession and average number of dribbles per touch, and all those things started coming down, and it was like a more of a team game. You're seeing Mikal Bridges get involved, all this stuff, and it was so exciting. And then it was like after the NBA Cup, things just started to kind of tail off, and it was just like, whoa, you guys are reverting to how you played last season. You know, there's the ball's a little more sticky. The defense is looking rocky. You can't keep penetration at all. Like, guys started playing poorly. Towns is complaining about his role, and it was just like, wait a second, are we just going backwards here? Like, is that what's going to happen? But thankfully, towards the end of the season, you started to see kind of those blips of how they played early in the season. Yeah. Starting in the Hawks series, it was a bit of a rocky start, obviously. Too many, in my opinion, bad Brunson, no Brunson Towns minutes. Deuce is the primary playmaker, which was weird. Not enough Towns plus shooters, not enough Brunson pick and roll, not enough, you know, lineup clarity, I would say. Like all these things that were just like, man, why are we still doing this? And it was looking a little sketchy. People started taking victory laps about how Mike Brown wasn't the guy and this and that. Yeah. And then where you, Lee? Because
man,
and I want to say, Lee, like I was not the Mike Brown guy. I did not feel like Mike Brown was the guy going in, but I said I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see what happens. Let's give him a chance. I was excited about what I saw. Then it took this turn, and I was like, man, you see, I knew it. You know, this is not working. It's not right. But then again, when he made this turnaround, that is the key difference: the ability to see things not going well, not going perfectly, and then to say, hold on a second, let me make an adjustment. Let me not wait until it's too late. Let me not wait until like game 6 where back is against the wall, we need a win, and then finally make an adjustment. He made the adjustment early. You lost 2 games by a point. Tibbs or another guy like that could have just said, listen, we lost 2 games by a point. We don't have to change anything. We're right there in this series. But Brown said, no, we should be dominating this series, made the adjustment. Towns is the playmaking hub, pulling the rim protector away from the rim, making those passes, go to Brunson Towns actions more often, go to Towns plus shooters, go to Mitchell Robinson, Brunson pick and rolls, like all these things that he wasn't doing early, started to incorporate those things. And then they made this huge turnaround, started blowing teams away. And, you know, it's been up since then. So that's kind of my summary overall. And just to interject my perspective on it, like I have not been the biggest Brown guy going into it. Wasn't the guy I wanted, but he has, I feel like every time he's been tested, proven that he can rise to the occasion. Hopefully that continues.
Very, very good answer. Listen, man, the definition of insanity: somebody who does something over and over again, sees is not working and goes, you know what? Let me try one more time.
Are you saying Tibbs was insane?
I'm not saying Tibbs is. Yes, I am. I'm saying Tibbs and I just appreciate him for that. I felt like there was an evolution from the beginning of the series to the end. Even things that are obvious to me, I'm just glad that he's doing them now. Like even the Cat Brunson 2-man game, we didn't see any remnants of the Cat Brunson 2-man game till like maybe game 60 or 70, where I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
They're passing the ball to each other. That's weird. And then we tried it in the playoffs, and it didn't work that much at first with the Hawks. And then something else was unlocked when Cat became point Cat or Draymond Green or Sabonis Light or whatever you want to call it. And it just worked. So the process was there. Do you guys feel like there's been because there has been some type of theory going around that the Knicks have been hiding their ace in the hole this entire time. Do you guys believe that, or do you feel like this is something that we just came upon in the playoffs?
I think that Mike Brown always knew that he had this in the back of his hand because he spent so many years in San Antonio watching Duncan as a hub. He spent so many years in Golden State watching Draymond as a hub, being able to see a guard like Tony Parker being a backdoor cutter off ball, Steph Curry being a motion shooter or repositioning shooter off ball. Like obviously he has that. He understands that methodology, and he knew he could always return to it if needed. I think he was trying to try out a lot of new things with this roster, that knowing the high IQ and high versatility that all these guys have, right? They're all five of the starters capable of being off ball and on ball. You didn't run the offense through Bridges. You didn't have Josh Hart bring the ball up. You didn't have Brunson set screens as a small man for Cat, an inverted pick and roll. But I think he really wanted to kind of try new things that could then become wrinkles in a series if the matchup called for it, knowing that experience in Sacramento, Sabonis is an unbelievable playmaker. But even that, to me, there's a difference. When we watched all those games doing our playoff preview between Golden State and Sacramento, we noticed Sabonis, when he was the hub, was so much at the perimeter, really at the three-point line as a DHO, handoff guy, and then turning around, and sometimes he would cut, or just the gravity of him would cause that space. It's different with Cat. Cat's in the pinch post. He's at the free throw line. He's finding cutters in different ways than Sabonis was. That, I think, was this revelation, that he realized that Cat's shooting gravity, his ability to put the ball on the floor, different than Sabonis. He has more ability to drive than Sabonis does. Those were, to me, wrinkles I don't think he always knew he had. It wasn't until it revealed itself. And again, this is a coaching staff of collaboration. I don't think even if someone told Tibbs that, Tibbs would have given a shit. And I know Ed Shea's not the biggest. I've watched many of the big video you did about why he was fired. I've heard all the commentary. I agree mostly with you. I'm probably a little bit more of a defender of Tibbs than you are, but I don't think Tibbs would have ever tried or even seen what Cat got. Once Mike Brown saw that, it wasn't just let's employ this. It wasn't just let's spam this. It's let's put the foot on the brake until the governor goes out and ride it down the hill. And now we're getting 45-point blow-off massacres.
Go ahead, Al. I don't know if you want to add anything.
I was very surprised that the Knicks didn't play this way the whole year, because when we got Mike Brown, I immediately thought, oh, Cat is going to be in this Sabonis role. And that's what I expected. And then to hear him be so confused about his role all year long. And then I don't know if you guys noticed recently in a post-game presser, they asked Mike Brown about it, and he said that he didn't have this offense. Like, he didn't go to this offense during the season. He didn't have Cat as the hub. And so then it clicked with me. I'm like, oh, now I understand why he was so confused all year, because he probably was thinking the same thing I was thinking, that he was going to be used in a certain way, and then he wasn't. So I was very surprised. So to me, it seems like if you listen to Mike Brown and what he was saying all years, he wanted the Knicks to, run a reaction-based kind of offense, be unpredictable, right? If the defense is doing this, if the defense is zigging, you zag, right? And now we've come into this shell of an offense where we run through Cat, but we have so many counters off of that Cat hub, right? Like there's so many backdoor cuts, there's so many other types of cuts and actions, that dribble handoffs, all these other things that feed off of that. But I think that has all kind of evolved because of how he approached the regular season and letting the Knicks just figure out how to play with each other and how to react in every single situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, because I love both of your points, Lee and Al. Like, I think those are all incredible observations, and I think that the value or the greatness of this Knicks team comes from their versatility. And I think, to your point, Lee, about kind of you could run offense through all five of these guys. All five of these guys can do everything offensively, right? Like, that's the thing, and there aren't many teams who are like that. So I'm not sure if Brown was hiding this or holding this, but I think that he always knew he could deploy it if he wanted to, if he needed to, if he thought it was the right moment, because again, the versatility of these guys to be able to all shoot, pass, dribble, score, do everything, run pick and rolls, like these guys can all do it all. And so Brown just kind of knew that, I think, and said, okay, well, this is the time to deploy this thing. And I'm sure Towns was just super excited about that. To your point, Al, I'm sure he was confused, because he's like, well, my role seems to vary. If I play the 4, it's like this. If I play the 5, it's like this. I'm the hub, like sometimes for a possession, and then I'm going into the post, and it's like it becomes pretty confusing. They just simplified stuff for him and allowed him to kind of play to his strengths, which are not just, as people think, just shooting the ball, but being this playmaker that, you know, I think he has been for a really long time in his career, but just has not gotten credit for it. Mike Brown knew that he could deploy that when he needed to.
Absolutely. I just want to add to this something that Cat mentioned himself, and I want to give Mike Brown and the coaching staff credit for this as well. Cat went to them. He went to the coaching staff and said, y'all should try this. I think I can be a hub. I think you guys can play through me, and I can be the facilitator. And shout out to them for actually listening and throwing out half of their playbook and doing that. And I think this is the biggest difference between this year and last year. It's the willingness to just take suggestions and listen to the teammates and the coaching staff. Just like when Josh Hart stormed into the room and said, you guys are not taking me off CJ McCollum.
Yeah,
I'm guarding him for the second half. Cat had the authority to do the same thing and said, you should play through me. And he was very grateful when he talked to the press. He was kind of just like, listen, I'm just happy that they trusted me to do this. And he seems happier than I ever seen him the entire year, taking 10 shots a game. I feel like he's taking less shots now in the playoffs than he did in the season. But I feel like there's a skip to his step ever since the playoffs started. And it's just because he really sees himself as the center second coming of Magic Johnson right now. He really does. Like, I really feel like think about all the crazy passes Cat has done over the last few years and his facial expression afterwards. He really feels like he's like he really feels like the spin around pass. Remember the spin around pass he did? Yeah. Like he loves this.
Cat wants to be a guard so bad. He really wants to be a guard.
He really does. Yeah.
Exactly. So let him, damn it. Let him, man.
I think the Knicks are going to win the championship. I feel so confident. No other team has 5 guys, much less 5 guys that are all in your starting lineup. So these are the ones playing the most minutes, in the most usage, and have the most complementary ability with the bench guys playing alongside them that can be the offensive focal point. At OKC, you have a little bit of that with J-Dub, but he's hurt with the hamstring injury. They don't run enough sets with Chet bringing the ball up or Chet even being the initiator for their first action. So much of their offense is funneled through SGA. San Antonio is probably the closest. They do have, say, 4.5 guys to run the offense through, but there's all deficiencies, right? Like Harper's not a super strong shooter. Castle's not a super strong playmaker. Wemby is still learning how to be a table setter for others. That's probably the biggest part of his game that needs more polish, is his playmaking ability and his processing on the offensive end. The Knicks have 5 guys that are all veterans that have all been focal points in different parts of their career and all can take over when needed. So whatever type of adjustment the opposing team throws on you, right? A blitz, a really hard hedge, Mike Brown would be like, all right, we're moving away from that, whether it's Brunson, right, in that capacity. Now we're going to run it through Hart, and now we're going to have Cat and Brunson be in the top of the key in the corners as a 3-point release valve. No other team can do that. No other team to have OG Anunoby initiating the offense and pick and roll with Cat. It's like every single weapon is such a threat, and then you add on all these complementary pieces that can all dribble, that all make smart reads, that can all shoot corner threes, and their bench with Mitchell Robinson, who's an X factor. I see that. I'm like, this is why the Knicks are going to win under Brown, and they couldn't under Tibbs, because Tibbs would never utilize the roster that way. He would have done what OKC is doing, but he's going to do what Detroit's doing, which is funnel all of the actions, first, second, and third, through Cade as a major part of that process, while Brown's willing to pivot and he's willing to change it up based on the series.
Yeah, all good points. All good points, man. And listen, JB is out here. There's been a lot of talk about him not being the real 1A. And you can't win a championship with a small guard. And when you think about the last small guard that won, which is Steph Curry, he was able to win because teams can't load up on him. You have another playmaker who can make for him, and he can take over the game at the end and put the team on his back. And I feel like that's pretty much the situation we are right now, which is why I feel like this is our best chance to win the championship, because we stumbled upon an elite playmaker at the center position that allows JB to kind of roam, kind of be Steph Curry-ish, the way he's setting picks for other people and taking over games when he needs be. And that's why I feel like I'm excited and Knicks fans are excited, because this is the formula for the small guard that's not supposed to be 1A to be 1A when it matters at the end of games. So I'm really excited about this team.
Cook.
I love what we're circling around here, because I think that, you know, you could be the type of team that has like one way they beat you. They just pound you over the head, whether it's like SGA is attacking the basket, get into his mid-range. And then you have to adjust to that. You have to bring extra defenders, and he's kicking it out to shooters. And then what are you going to do? Like, you have to stop that. A Luka Doncic team is very similar. But the name of the game for the Knicks is their versatility, is leveraging their versatility. And that's what they have, to Lee's point, to what we've been talking about here. That's what they have that no other team has at the level that they have it. Like, if you want to matchup hunt, they can matchup hunt, attack mismatches, get high percentage shots in critical situations with Jalen Brunson. If you want to, pull the opposing rim protector away from the basket, like we talked about, attack the paint from the outside, you can do that with Towns. Uniquely suited in the NBA to do that with Karl-Anthony Towns, who is one of the best combinations of a 7-footer who can shoot and then pass. Like, I don't think there's another guy besides Nikola Jokic who is on that level. The Knicks have taken 40% of their shots at the rim so far this playoffs. That's a completely crazy number. And that's because there's no rim protector ever underneath the basket. You could it's a free reign to the hoop because of Karl-Anthony Towns. You can run these unstoppable two-man actions with Brunson Towns. You can have elite lockdown wing defense with OG Anunoby and, to a lesser extent, Bridges and Hart. You can contain on the perimeter and screen navigation and slow down paint attackers with Deuce and Shamet and Alvarado. You can have all of this defensive connectivity that we've seen. They can beat you with shooting and spacing. They could beat you with rebounding and physicality with Mitch and Hart lineups. Like, they can throw out for a single defensive possession. They could say, we are going to stop everything you can possibly do. We'll put Deuce, Hart, Sohan, OG, and Mitch. What are you going to do? They can beat switches with Towns, post-ups, Brunson isolations. They have, all of the defensive schemes to exploit unreliable shooters, which they have done so far in the Hawks and Sixers, always basically fielding at least one or two unreliable shooters on the court. They are willing to briefly put two on the ball to kind of get back into the matchups, have a rotation in a coordinated fashion, and then the depth that they have where they can bring on guys with a variety of styles who can fill in any gaps that they might have during that particular game or series. There's no other team that has that level of versatility in the entire NBA. There's just not.
Y'all just witnessed a massacre just now on a microphone. Just letting you know. Just letting you know if you didn't. The versatility is crazy. Versatility is crazy. For sure. You want to say something, Lee? I feel like Lee wanted to say something.
No. I was impressed by that entire monologue. Great coach, bro.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Cooked. Definitely cooked. Oh, man. Speaking of versatility, this is a person I want to talk about that I feel like every Knicks fan was really hopeful for at the beginning of the season. And he shot up and then took a nosedive and has come back again. And I'm talking about Mikal Bridges, right? Mikal Bridges started off the season. I don't know if people remember this, but this actually happened. Mikal Bridges started off the season with people on their side. All right. Mikal Bridges started off the season with people going, oh, look at that. He's playing better. He's aggressive. He seems like he was in training camp earlier. And then the wheels fell completely off. And we didn't know what happened. There seems to be a resuscitation of Mikal Bridges happening right now. He's been resurrected, all starting from the Atlanta Hawks series. And I also kind of feel like it might coincide with the OG going down, but that's a whole nother story. But I want to ask you guys' perspective on that. And I'm gonna start off with XJ because he's the guest. Like, what do you see with the Mikal Bridges story of why he's getting back into rhythm now?
I just think Mikal Bridges is there's so much mental aspect that goes into it for him in terms of his confidence, his aggression, because I don't really have another way to explain some of the ups and downs of Mikal Bridges. Like it just seems like when he's confident, when he's willing to pull mid-range jumpers, get to his spots, take threes, relocation threes, be aggressive in transition, get early seals, attacking the basket. Like sometimes he's willing to do that stuff and sometimes he's not. And I talked about this on Locked On Knicks, but I feel like it's often kind of framed in this way where it's like Mikal Bridges is like mentally weak or something like that, where he's just like more fragile or this and that. And I actually look at it as the opposite. I see it as more of a mental resiliency for him to be able to go through the downs that he went through early in the playoffs and basically playing in my opinion, his worst basketball of the season. And even coming into the playoffs was struggling. And then be able to swing around and just suddenly pick up that confidence, pick up that aggression, start attacking more, just being like, I know who I am and I'm going to play that way despite how much he struggled prior. That's mental resilience to me. Yeah. That's tough, man. Like most guys will just kind of sink into their shell and then, we'll come back next season after an off season of kind of regaining their confidence. This guy's pulling his confidence up, game to game. That's actually crazy to do in my opinion. So that's my biggest thing with Bridges. I feel like there is a situation where if his mental is right, he's going to play well. And if it's not necessarily for whatever reason, he's going to struggle a little bit. But as long as he's aggressive, I think that he is such a bonus for this team. And the fact it makes it one too many like elite guys, like to be honest, for opponents. It's just like you could kind of handle it. If Bridges is not playing to that level, it's like, at least we got a little weakness on the court. But once Bridges is playing like this, there's just too many guys. There's nothing you could do at that point. It's just too much.
I agree. It's like I feel like Bridges in heart, because you were the 1-2-3 punch has been Brunson, Cat, and OG. Bridges and Hart start get going, then just go home now, man. Just go home, mail us a chip. We'll see you during the parade. That's how I feel. I really do, because to me those are the X factors from that starting five, because those guys aren't the guys who's scoring. How do we keep this going though? I don't know if you guys have any ideas. I do feel like with this new offensive flow, I did notice Mike Brown had the ball in his hands a little bit more when OG's been out. I would like to keep that going a little bit. I know you can't do it too much because not everybody can have the ball in their hands all the time because there's only one basketball. But I feel like I want to keep that aggressiveness. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead.
I think when you think about Mikal Bridges, first thing that comes to mind and that dictates the way he plays is that stupid Iron Man streak. That is what makes him. So he is elite at pacing himself. This is the second year in a row in the playoffs that he's been a playoff riser. So I'm dismissing what he does in the regular season. The guy clearly is pacing himself. The best ability is availability, and he makes sure that he is there for his team at the most important time of the year, which is the playoffs. That's when he shows up. And so if he wants to pace himself because he cares that much about that streak, I am okay with that. But I think that is what informs the way that you see him play in the regular season. And so now we're in the playoffs and he's playing differently. So I'm not concerned about like, hey, can he keep it up? No, this is him in the playoffs. This is how he plays. So I expect him to continue this.
I like that take.
Yeah. By the way, Al, you've been cooking, bro. I think what Brown figured out, specifically in the Sixer series, is that you don't need Bridges to be an on-ball creator in the same way that Brunson is or Cat is. I think you want him to be like a help beater and a pressure release valve from a three-point line when Cat specifically is doing the majority of the offensive list. And I think the adjustment to Mike Brown was schematic. When you move Cat to the pinch post, who benefits from that motion offense around Cat more than anyone? It's Mikal Bridges, who has elite cutting ability, not to mention just him, but OG Anunoby and even Josh Hart are incredible in cutters. Bridges' ability to read where the defense is going to be and getting there a second before to be able to beat that and then finish in the lane, off-ball screening, which sets up handoffs, not just for himself, but also for Deuce McBride, for Jalen Brunson, for Landry Shamet, for Jordan Clarkson, that also allow him off-ball to attack downhill and then catch those cat passes, which opens up driving lanes for Brunson or even for himself too. I think in this Philly, he was a really consistent secondary scorer because Mike Brown wasn't asking him to create specifically for himself. He was just asked to run, to cut, to slip screens, and to finish in transition, which, damn it, he's one of the best on our team, and he's one of the best in the NBA. And then on defense, I think not using him in the regular season as a point of attack defender, making that more of by committee. Yeah. Certain games you saw certain matchups where he did take that on. Other games you saw Josh Hart take that on. But I think saving that for the postseason where he can be the one chasing CJ McCollum initially, through over screens is a really big key to maintaining his health bar. I think about things in like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter sense. But also I think once Mike Brown pushed the defensive coverage higher on the court, he stopped having to fight through strings, which he can get sometimes smashed against. That's where I prefer Deuce McBride or Landry Shamet to be those guys that are doing that. Instead, now he's pressuring ball handlers from the full court press. That's where he does those deflections. That's where he really tires guys out, where he's able to save his energy and not fight through a big body and get those elbows in his hip, but be able just to make things tough, to get the ball over the half court line is essential. Now he's a ball hawk, which is where he's best at, pressuring ball handlers, jumping passing lanes, and then on offense finishing. So all those things to me, this is the right role for him. Brown figured that out. Most importantly, he figured that out, and he's comfortable again.
Really good points. Really good.
I love y'all are all cooking, man.
I really
sure.
love this show. I love this show. Can I just say, if I wasn't on the show and I was just watching, I would just be like, yo. Yeah, out about our experience right now. All right. Really good points. So good point that I forgot my point that I was going to I was just like, damn.
I had to step it up, bro. We got Etsy on the show.
Hey, for sure, man.
Y'all are crushing it, man, for sure.
Get y'all A game on. Okay. So here's the thing about Mikal. Yeah, and you're right about that. You're right about. I really like that point about saving his battery, because if you see how he's been performing during his postseason, it's been out of this world, man. I feel like Alexander Walker, who's been the lead 3-point shooter the entire season, had his water faucet shut off during that season. Then you go into the next round where you have one of the MVP candidates in this league in Tyrese Maxey. He's been causing havoc, scoring over 28 points a game or 30 points a game throughout this entire season. Did he even crack 20 during this series? I don't think so. And he didn't even crack 20 in this series, and that's insane. And that's with Mikal Bridges being the point of attack defender. This is something that we were killing him for last season. We got him for defense. Why is he not playing defense? Especially Lee, right? and Mike Brown.
No, me too on that.
And no, we all were. But Lee, when Lee kills you, you feel it more. Everybody knows when Lee's mad, he feels worse. But so you just give Mike Brown a lot of credit for unlocking Mikal Bridges on both sides of the ball, but especially defensively, because that's the part that we really need to get to that championship. For sure. Other things I want to let's get into the adjustments conversation, especially a shout out to Lee, who just wrote a great substat that talked about adjustments. I want to get your thoughts on this. What adjustments do you feel like led to the success that we have right now. I don't know if I want to start with XJ. I'll start with XJ if you have anything. I know Lee has that already ready to go because he wrote a whole article. So if you take one he takes, he's gonna have at least 3 or 4 in the cut.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about something that I feel like hasn't been talking about a ton, but it might have. I'm not sure, but I would say defensively, what they've done has been just really, really smart. And I'm not a fan of putting 2 on the ball necessarily in a lot of situations, blitzing. But the Knicks have done it in a super smart way. So basically, they've been able to make this adjustment where they can put 2 on the ball briefly. They have a third guy come in to tag a roller. And they'll leave a reluctable, shooter open in the corner temporarily, whether that's Oubre, like I talked about, whether that's Mo Gay, whether that's, Dyson Daniels. They'll leave that guy open temporarily and then leverage that guy to get back to the matchups that they want to as they rotate out. And so that's something that I think they haven't really done a ton of this season. And to be honest, like I said, I'm not a fan of blitzing, but when you have poor or reluctant shooters on the court, it allows you to get away with it. It gives you time. It gives you extra time. It buys you time because you would get penalized immediately. Let's say that corner shooter is a knockdown sniper. Now you don't have time because the ball swings way faster than you can actually run. Right. But in the other situation where you have a shooter that you're not really worried about, even if he makes 33% of them, you're like, I'll live with that. Now the ball swings to that shooter. If he doesn't shoot it, then that gives you time to catch up to him. If he does shoot it, you're kind of living with that possession. You're fine with that possession. A 33% shooter is coming under 1 point per possession in terms of like how much value they're contributing. So it's like you'll live with that possession. So I think that is a huge adjustment that they made, something that Mike Brown has done that has allowed their defense to really thrive and has made it really difficult. This is like the most important part of this to me, made it really difficult to try to exploit Jalen Brunson. As we talked about, as we always talk about, it's like, Jalen Brunson, is he a defensive weakness? Is he a liability? This and that. Our team's going to just target him. Well, you can't really target him if they're willing to put 2 on the ball with him and then get the ball out of the opposing player's hands without really a penalty for it. So that's the biggest thing to me. That's one of the biggest things I should say, that I think is an adjustment that will continue to do them well really in all of the rest of the series that they might have. It's going to matter against Cade with Asar Thompson off ball. It's going to matter, against the Spurs with either Castle or Harper off ball. And it's going to matter against the Thunder if it ends up being the Thunder. I mean, they have good shooters all around, but you got to slow down SGA some way. So I think that it really matters. It's going to impact all of the series moving forward.
That's an elite observation because one of my biggest concerns coming into the season was, can we actually win with Jalen Brunson and Cat on the floor at the same time? Just from a defensive standpoint, I had a lot of concerns about that. And Mike Brown really came in and shored that up. So, yeah, that's huge. My observation in terms of the adjustment that I think was key in terms of how we're performing in the playoffs right now. I'm not going to say the Cat Hub observation because that's obvious. I think another key thing that he did was insert Alvarado into the second unit and shore up that second unit with the ball handler because even in our playoff run last year, the non-Brunson minutes were excruciating, and it was so tough. We would never win those minutes. Yeah. And so now we were having that same issue again at the start of this playoffs, and he quickly pivoted to Alvarado, who's a more sure ball handler, New York City point guard, gets us into ours, and he plays fast the way that Mike Brown wants to play. And so I thought that was another thing that now when Brunson can take a breather and we don't have to worry so much about the non-Brunson minutes. I think that's key to keeping Brunson fresh and making a long playoff run.
Yeah, great point.
Great point.
So I'm going to follow up on XJ. To me, it's the defense specifically. I'm going to be a little harsh here, exposing Tyrese Maxey and his need to increase his reads. This has been kind of a common theme here when the Knicks are defending you. But how good are you at reading the offense, reading the defense, and figuring out where your advantages are? And I think was obvious after the series that's where Maxey needs to grow the most, and because Mike Brown threw different coverages at Max. I think Tom Thibodeau would have had one guy, probably Josh Hart or Mikal Bridges, guarding him for most of the game. And Mike Brown said, you know what, we're going to use all 5 guys to do different things on you. So you constantly have to figure out where the coverage is coming from and how you have to adjust, whether you're using your first step or using your pull-up or using a handoff to get into an open action to where you have a high efficiency shot. He was throwing all kinds of different stuff at him, specifically initially starting at Brunson with a pretty hard hedge to take away his mid-range game, and then immediately moving to Deuce, giving him fighting over screens in the pick and roll with him and Embiid or him and Bona, and then moving to Josh Hart, who was covering him in stretches. It's like, bro, Maxey never had the ability to get comfortable in this series. And I think that to me is the difference between a Maxey level player and a Brunson Cade level player, is the other two are able to process a game in a way where they find their advantages no matter who you throw at them or how many different coverages you throw at them. We saw that in Detroit. We saw that against Miami. We saw it against Cleveland. And that's why I think Brunson's in a whole nother tier, an MVP tier, a finals MVP tier. And then second was the defense on Joel Embiid. Maxey's more important because Maxey is unequivocally the best player. But Joel Embiid looked absolutely washed. And it was really smart, right? Mike Brown's like, when Cat's covering him, we're going to throw a double on him. But we're not going to throw a double until that first dribble, to where now Embiid it's less instinctual to where Embiid knows a counter. Now Embiid's already in that flow of going to the basket. But once that first dribble hits, boom, you send that secondary defender and it throws him off his rhythm. And now, to Edshay's point, he's having to pass out to someone who shoots 30 or 32%, or in some cases 25%, 28%, you live with that shit. You cut off Embiid as a playmaker. And then you trust Mitchell Robinson to guard him straight up. All the minutes where Mitch was out there, no doubles. Trust Mitch on an island to shut him down. And damn it, he did to the point to where Embiid tried to fall on Cat or fall on Mitch and try to injure him again, because that's the only move that he has left in his arsenal, which is vindictiveness. And at this point in his career, that's the only thing he can rely on. The defense on Maxey, the defense on Embiid, another Mike Brown, and shout out the defensive coordinator, Brendan O'Connor, masterclass.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to your Maxey point, because I thought it's an incredible point. It feels like a quarterback, right? Like a guy who just kills you on his first read. He's just crushing you, dicing you up. And then you just force him to go deeper into his reads, go deeper, go to a second read, a third read, go deeper into his progression. And it's like, maybe if he was to see it, he would dice you up. But it's like, is he good enough to get that deep into his progression tree? And Maxey has not shown his ability to do that. So I think that's a brilliant observation for sure.
Appreciate it.
And then you add on Mikal Bridges, who's been able to just pretty much contain him one-on-one on top of the different reads. Then it's become hell for him for the entire series. I don't have like a super scheme answer. I just have a mentality answer. I feel like Jalen Brunson's mentality to switch up his style of play after being the leader for 3 straight years of I'm dribbling the ball 11 times, 11 seconds, 12 seconds, 13 seconds, to committing to a player who's willingly passing the ball up. Hey, Mikal Bridges, you're going to play point guard? Cool. You're playing point guard for this section. Hey, Karl-Anthony Towns, you're going to be the hub. I'm going to set this screen to confuse the guys. I feel like he just committed to it, and I feel like as good as a game manager as Jalen Brunson has been, we've all wanted him to pick his spots better in different parts of the season and playoffs and take advantage of the people around him. And I feel like this season and this playoffs, he's reached that pinnacle of balance of, all right, here we go. I'm shooting now. All right, I'm passing now. And I think it's the mentality.
Finally.
Good point.
Yeah. And you know what, Al, you brought up a point too. And I actually want to bring this point up to you guys as well. We talked about the need to have the non-Brunson minutes be successful, right? Mike Brown has a love affair. Everybody has a love affair. With Shamet and Deuce, and I actually do too. I love those guys. I'm not saying it because he has some kind of sickness. They're really good players. Right. They're really good players. Because, sometimes it's like, man, why is this coach like this person so much? He's not doing anything well. But here's the thing. Josh Hart last year, right? He wasn't playing well. Tibbs said, I'm still playing you no matter what with a broken hand, and definition of insanity, right? He has a broken hand. Keep shooting. I don't get it. I don't get it. But here's the thing: we found success benching Shamet, going with Jose Alvarado as the point guard. Shamet has this huge game recently because OG is out. He scores 15 points straight. I'm starting to see talks of that maybe Shamet should be back in the lineup. I'm not so sure. I want to get your guys' thought on that because if Shamet's back in the lineup, does that mean Jose Alvarado is now sitting? I'm not so sure if I like that, but maybe you guys can convince me otherwise. I'll start with Al because he actually brought up that topic before.
I don't like that because that puts Deuce in a backup point guard role. And one thing Deuce has proven to me time and time again is that he's not a point guard. So I don't want him in that role. He's not effective in that role. And I think we do need a ball handler in that second unit. I think they showed that in the Atlanta series. So I right now would manage Shamet with what I want to call, shout out to XJ, the hot hand theory. Give him some spotty minutes. If he comes in and he's hot,
that was good.
Then you let him rock. And he kind of did that in game 3 against Philly. He gave Shamet more minutes than Deuce in that game because Deuce wasn't really playing well in game 3, and so he rode Shamet. And then in game 4, we all know what Deuce did, so he rode Deuce. So I will continue to deploy them that way.
No. What you thinking, XJ?
No, I mean, I can't disagree with Al after dropping the hot hand theory line. I mean, what can I say at this point? No, I generally do agree with you, Al. Like, I think that Shamet, when he's shooting how he's shot the last couple games, he has to get on the floor, not in the capacity where that puts Deuce in the primary, ball handler role. I agree with that entirely. But yeah, if he's shooting like just lights out, just hitting everything, I think he has to get on the court. I would play him next to Brunson a little bit more if you can make that happen, because I really think he fits super well if you're going into those Brunson, Mitchell Robinson dominated lineups. Having Shamet there as a spacer to give you that much more space on the pick and rolls can really, really work. But as far as like second unit where it's like Towns plus 4 shooters around him, I do think he needs Alvarado in those situations to push the ball, to create pick and rolls. And Alvarado sets up Karl-Anthony Towns so well. Like there's second to only Tyler Kolek on the team, in my opinion, as far as like getting Towns in positions to do work. So I generally agree. I think managing with the hot hand theory approach is a good idea.
And I'll just follow up shortly. This was the 5th adjustment that I talked about in the Substack article, which was it's all based on the matchups, right? Atlanta has guys who are great string navigators. They're long, they're rangy, they can switch between Naw, Jalen Johnson, CJ McCollum, and Dyson Daniels. You needed more ball handling, right? That second unit didn't have a distributor. It also didn't have a lot of strong dribbling as well, because you were playing Mikal Bridges with the bench unit too at that time. So I think it's all about that unit needed a facilitator in Alvarado. This depends on the matchup. If we play Detroit, to me, Detroit's more like Atlanta. I think Detroit needs Alvarado, not Shamet. You need someone who can go up in their second unit. They don't play their starting 5 bid minutes. Definitely going to see that, right? Less of their bench, more of their starters. But if we play Cleveland, I would actually bench Alvarado and play Shamet. Now you need a 3-point shooting to keep up with the Merrills on their team, the guys who are snipers on the Matt Struces on that team. That I think you don't need Alvarado as much. You need more spacing against their defense. So it just depends on who we end up playing. I think there'll probably be Detroit, and I think Alvarado to me is a bigger X factor against Detroit than Shamet would be against Cleveland, because we're really, they don't impress us. That Atlanta series saw how much they were blitzing this and made Shamet unplayable. Once you put Alvarado in there, it helped break that blitz because he's a better handler. He can get snake through and get past the half-court line to get us into our initial action until, to me, seconds are off the shot clock.
If you go Shamet versus the Cavs, then you did not play, because OG's plays with that second unit. I still feel like you need somebody who's gonna bring 2 to the ball or cause havoc, right? Alvarado, he's not a guy who's going to be an ISO guy, but he gets in the paint so much you have to collapse, and that creates the space for open shooters. You take him out, you don't create that advantage. that means are we playing Cat more with the second unit? Because I don't feel like that works with OG in the second unit,
An interesting follow-up. So spoiler to what Monday's Substack article is going to be.
Oh,
Deuce McBride is the X factor for the series if they end up playing Cleveland, because I think that's what it is. I think Mike Brown has shown I'm going to switch up everything: coverages, rotations, minutes played together, who's in the pick and roll between Brunson and Mitch, or Brunson and Cat, or Clarkson and Mitch. I think you're going to see more of Deuce McBride and Karl-Anthony Towns playing together, leveraging their pick and roll and leveraging them both as shooters. Deuce McBride, the shooting clinic that he put on against that Philadelphia series, to me, he's the gravity X factor that puts 2 on the ball. You cannot hedge off of him if he's in there with Karl-Anthony Towns. You got 2 unbelievable shooters you can pull up unconsciously from 3. I think that makes up for the lack of an actual true initiator. Because I think it's Cleveland, we play faster, we're more out in the break, and we're throwing up more threes against them because they're going to be throwing up more threes. So to me, it's all about the chemistry between Deuce and Karl-Anthony Towns.
Interesting. So I feel like what I'm getting is if we play Detroit, we want to keep Alvarado in, but we want to find minutes for Shamet, which means are we going 10 deep? Is that what we're doing? Because I feel like the only way to do that is to go 10 deep.
We have been going 10 deep. I mean, to my calculations, would anyone disagree with that? Maybe 9.5, you could say. Alvarado is probably playing the least amount of minutes, and it's Philly. But, yeah, I would say overall we're playing 10 guys almost every game.
I think we've only been playing 10 because Cat's been in foul trouble in the last series. Or like we've blown the teams out so much that you're like, all right, here. Like the bench is in there getting 10, 15 minutes. Now it counts as 10.
I guess when OG's been injured, we've been playing 9.5.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would just add that, like, so philosophically, I'm least wedded to the idea of having like a true point guard on the court or a true playmaker. Like I don't think it's always so critical. Like, for example, in these particular lineups, when we're talking about Towns, we're talking about Deuce, we're talking about OG out there, like there's so much shooting and spacing on the court that at some point you literally just have enough to create good shots through just playing fast, having Towns out there being no rim protector, having huge wide driving lanes. It makes guys like better than they actually are, in my opinion. So like you could imagine if there's tight driving lanes, you got to be that much more quicker to get past your guy and get to the basket. If there's huge wide driving lanes, you don't even have to be that good. You just have to be able to beat your guy a little bit off the dribble, get a little bit of an advantage, and kick out. And you're starting this domino effect of advantages that are happening. So I think when the shooting is that good, you don't need as much of a primary playmaker on the court. The problem is, to Lee's point with Detroit, you need ball handlers against Detroit. You need guys who can dribble, who are not going to get stripped, because Detroit's going to want to cut off the court. They're going to want to shrink the court. They're going to overload a side. They're going to put pressure on you. They're going to try to go for turnovers. They're going to strip you. They're going to foul you. They're going to push you. Like, you need guys who can handle the ball no matter what against Detroit. So that is where I push back against my own philosophy, and I totally agree. I would have Alvarado playing. I think Clarkson's going to play in that Detroit series like a little bit, to be honest with you. Ball handling is going to be of the essence. I think Brunson would play the most minutes of any series against Detroit in that situation as well, because they're just going to need him more than any other matchup. But I do agree against Cleveland. I feel less like that's a lot less necessary, and in general, I feel like it's a lot less necessary.
One final point. If our 3 ball is falling collectively against Detroit, then we don't need Brunson to overplay, and this will be over in 4. I think there's sweep possibility against Detroit, and you know me, I'm out. I'm always out the window, man. Hey, I told sweep against Philly, and we swept their ass.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna shut up.
Possible.
Yeah, shut up.
And it's possible against Cleveland, but I think Detroit's the more outlandish one to hear that about. It's all about is our 3 ball falling, or are we grinding it out in the half court? And as SJ said, depending on drives by Brunson, using his footwork to score, they're under 100 scoring games. Yeah, that might go 5 or 6. But if our 3-point, and it's been on, if that's on, Deuce is the X factor. He's shooting 5 or 6 a game. This is over in 4.
Yeah, it's funny when you think about the games we have with Detroit. I feel like we haven't had. I mean, they haven't had Duren, but what has Duren been this playoffs? Not much. I feel like we haven't had Deuce for a lot of these games. And we haven't had OG. And the game that OG came back for was his first game back after a long layoff. Coincidentally, it seems like that's about to happen again. Like they didn't get full strength OG. So this is going to be an interesting playoff matchup. Go ahead, Lee.
The only game Deuce played was the first one of the series, and he had 17 points in 25 minutes, and he went 5 of 6 from 3.
Pretty good.
So if that Deuce shows up, Knicks in 4.
Woo!
Here we
That'd be crazy.
That's legitimately, that is the hot hand theory, right? I mean, come on.
Twice. Check it out.
I love it.
All right. What brings me to I got 2 more questions for you. All right. One.
I think Al had one too, right, Al?
Oh, you have some? My bad.
No, I can go last.
Okay.
Didn't
I just
show
want to make sure he got his question in.
Oh, I feel like this has been the question of the week. The preferred matchup, man.
Yeah.
The preferred matchup. Who do you feel like you want to play? My answer has always been more emotional, not necessarily about who can be worse. but I want to ask XJ, who do you want to match up with?
Yeah, I just think there's such a high number of ways to approach this question. It's kind of funny. Like, you could just say, who do you think is the easier matchup? That's, I think, how most people approach the question, which is totally valid. You want to make it to the finals to have a chance to win it. For me, there's 2 factors that I care about more than that. And one, like, I'm kind of an all or nothing kind of guy, and a lot of people don't really jive with that. It's like people would feel good like the Knicks made it to the finals. That really matters, and it's huge. I agree. Like, historically, that's really important. For me, I'm like, I want to win a championship. I don't really, like, you losing an ECF, you losing the finals, like, it's not too much different to me. I'm trying to win a title. And I think the team that prepares you to win the title the most is the Detroit Pistons. And I say that because I think that's the team that's the Oklahoma City Thunder is most similar to in terms of their physicality, all the defenders that they have. It's going to force you to make some of the more serious adjustments in order to be able to win the series. You'll have to play a particular style in order to be effective. It's going to prepare you both mentally and physically for that next level that you're going to play. And not to say that the Cavs couldn't beat the Knicks, and the Cavs have really nice strategic ways and tactical ways that they could give the Knicks a lot of trouble, and it would prepare them in some ways. But I think Detroit is the team that's actually going to push the Knicks to make more serious adjustments in order to win. I don't feel as confident as Lee does about that series, but again, he's right. If the shot is going down at a high percentage, they're sweeping pretty much anybody that they play. I think Detroit just is a tough matchup that is going to get into your chest, and that is going to set the Knicks up to say, not only can we show that we can continue to bring our intensity up, because when we talked about adjustments, we didn't talk about, which it's not really an adjustment, but it's like they have learned that they can bring their intensity up to a level that other teams just simply can't match. And they've been in this situation where the other team is the one with their back against the wall, and the Knicks are the team that's bringing that level of desperation and intensity to a level that the other team just can't reach. And that's incredible to see. And I just want to see them continue to do that against tougher and tougher competition. And Detroit's going to do that. Detroit is going to max out on physicality. They're going to foul the hell out of you. You know that's going to happen. And they're going to get, some of those are going to get called. Some of those are not going to get called. And can you keep your head in those scenarios? Can you stick with it? Can you say, okay, just go on to the next play? Yeah, I got pushed out of bounds, whatever. Sar Thompson grabbed me and I stripped the ball and got a breakaway dunk, and like stick with it and keep fighting, because guess who's going to be doing that? The Oklahoma City Thunder is going to be doing the exact same thing if you play them in the final. So to me, that preparation matters more. And so in my opinion, you have a lesser chance to win in the Eastern Conference finals, but it provides you the better chance to win in the finals, which is what I care about the most. So I understand both sides of it. And, I'm sure, my colleagues here are going to give great perspectives on either side that they land, but that's kind of just where I land right now.
That is an interesting perspective, because I do feel like the people who wanted the Knicks to play the Hawks in the first round said they wanted to play the Hawks for the exact same reason. And then when you ask Mike Brown about how he got to the adjustments that he made, he always thanks the Hawks coach for pushing him to make those adjustments. So if you do feel like you were a team, or this Knicks is a championship contending team, and they can adjust to whatever style, that Detroit Pistons team would be the one to force us to adjust if indeed we do have to adjust. So that's an interesting answer, and I like it. I haven't thought about it from that perspective.
I've been on record saying that I want the Cavs. I've also been on record saying I don't really care who we play. I think we're going to beat either team. But if I had to pick someone, I would pick the Cavs. I think they would be the easier opponent. James Harden will get hunted all freaking series, and we would just destroy them. But I also think, XJ, you might be cutting them a little bit short on the way that they would prepare us for OKC, because I think they do have some similarities. They have, the flopping shooting guard that tries to foul bait all day, like Harden and SGA. And then they have the two bigs, right? That similar to how OKC deploys their bigs, and they will pose those similar challenges for this Knicks lineup. So I think they would prepare us in a way as well. So I think we get the best of both worlds going up against the Cavs. Like, I think we can make quick work of them, and we can get a sneak preview of how we would have to play against OKC, assuming that OKC comes out of the West, which is kind of the assumption I'm operating under right now.
Don't be so sure.
That's fair.
Wow, don't be so sure.
True. Yeah, I would say I'm not sure about the OKC coming out, but yeah, I think those are great points though.
Spurs got their number, bro. I don't know.
I need, not just for myself, but specifically based on what SJ said to start the show, I need revenge for 9-9, man. I need Nets over Spurs for sure. And that's you should know.
Yeah.
The Alamo Dome, and I lit some sage when I went to the high school basketball championships. I exercised all the demons from that arena so that we can
I love that.
Let's go.
So we've gotten some pretty intellectual answers here on who you prefer. So I'm gonna be a little disrespectful.
Yes.
Say that I want Detroit. I think the Pistons are the easier matchup. Why? The shooting is ass. The coaching is ass. Secondary shot creation is ass. The spacing is ass. Is ass. Listen, it's BBL level ass. It's like Magic City over there. I'm not a fan of the way that roster is constructed. I think that roster is constructed to win a round one series, not for a deep playoff run. You're depending on 45-year-old Tobias Harris continue to put up the best playoff series of his career. Well, now OG Anunoby is going to be face guarding you for every single minute of every single game, right? They depend so much on Dennis Jenkins for secondary shot creator, a rookie two-way player. No, he's from Dallas, played at Hillcrest. I'm a fan. He looks like Jay Ellis, but I don't trust him over the Knicks' depth of OG and Bridges and Cat and Hart. Come on, the spacing. They got one shooter in Duncan Robinson who's recovering from an ab strain, and then Cade Cunningham is their other volume shooter. So a guy who initiates, who rebounds, who pushes the pace, who sets up the offense, who's the number one scorer, who's your best overall player, also has to be your volume three-point shooter. I think so many things go to our advantage. Jalen Duren is having an absolute identity crisis. Paul Reed has outplayed him. Paul Reed has been the best big on that team for the entirety of their playoff run. And listen, man, Jalen Duren, bro, shout out Angel Reese, man. He must have gotten to his head because he's playing like BBL level.
Damn, yeah.
Very confident in the Knicks' chances matchup-wise against that team for all the reasons that Leon Rose went out and addressed this summer. We got more ball handling. We got more shooting. We have a more strategic adjustment-ready coach and Mike Brown. We don't have to depend on Jalen Brunson. They blitzed the hell out of Brunson last year. He was on ball so much in that series. It's going to be a different offense. They've never seen what we are, and they don't see us coming, and we're going to smack that ass, belt to ass, BTA, Knicks and 4.
All right now.
Tough.
Jeez.
I love it.
Are you sure, Lee? You sound unsure of yourself. Oh my God. Yo, here's the thing with the Cavs versus Detroit Pistons. Both of them kind of present different challenges, right? The Cavs have more weapons in that starting five, so they can, like, we've been getting by concentrating our defenses on one or two guys, mostly one guy. And it's like, we blitz this one guy, we're fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, we've done that with the Atlanta Hawks because they don't have a lot of shooters. We've done that with Tyrese Maxey because they don't have a lot of shooters. If we play the Cavs, although I do feel like Detroit, has weapons. If we do play the Cavs, I don't know if we'll be able to get away with the exact same thing. I feel like we're going to have to rely more on individual defenses for longer stretches and not just blitz everybody into oblivion. So I don't overlook them as much as everybody else does. I still feel like there's going to be coaching that needs to be done. I still feel like we're going to have to lean into more Mitchell Robinson and the double big lineup with those guys than we have before. And I hope the coaches are ready for that if indeed we do that. Now, So for me, when I see who's the better matchup for us, I kind of see Detroit, but not by like a mile. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like both teams prevent a specific situation that's going to test us. Detroit being the physicality and the athleticism that we haven't really been able to match up with historically, even though we did figure it out with the Atlanta Hawks. And the Cavs with their versatility and their ISO and their shot making, 3-point shot making, where we can't load up as much as we have.
Right. Higher
right. Right. So but the thing is, I want to beat the shit out of Detroit, man. I really do.
Yeah.
So all that out the window. I want Detroit. Okay. They wanted the smoke all year. They've been talking that stuff all year. I want Detroit. I feel like beating Detroit will not just be like, it'll be a confidence booster because it's kind of been this silent boogeyman. I even seen the way the Knicks play against Detroit this entire year. I feel like even the last game he played against Detroit, even Brunson, I felt like he was a little tight in his head. He's missing open shots because he was trying to figure out. Okay, how do I not dominate the ball when I get the ball now? Okay, it's okay for me to shoot? Okay, I'll shoot. It wasn't instinctive. So I feel like beating Detroit would not only be like a beat your chest moment because they had it out for us all year, but I feel like it'll be confirmation mentally for this team that, oh yeah, we got that boogeyman off their back and we can go and get the job done on the next level. So I want Detroit. It'd be okay if the Cavs cool, we'll play them. It'll be a tough series. I still like we can beat the Cavs. We have a mental edge over the Cavs. Mitchell Robinson owns those boys over there, and Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, we own them. Jalen Brunson owns Donovan Mitchell. I don't care. I don't care that we didn't get him. Good, we didn't get him because we won Jalen Brunson every way. All right, he can live in the post. So we can beat those guys and it'll be cool, but I want Detroit.
From an emotional standpoint, I totally agree with you. I think that you gotta want Detroit because, first of all, like, Pistons fans have been talking crazy all season, and it's like
in the chat,
in the chats, on Locked On Knicks, like, we've been brigaded every single time by Pistons fans. Like, I was on a post game show after one of the spankings that the Knicks took, and I was like, the Knicks are the more talented team, just as almost like as a throwaway. And Detroit fans all latched on to that. How could you say they're more talented? They're losing by 30. I'm like, okay, like, look at the rosters, man. Like the outcome of a particular game doesn't indicate talent. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. And they're just craving, dying for respect over there in Detroit. And I understand it. But to be honest, like, how good would it feel to just take all that away? Like, nah, no respect for you. Go home. Like, and to Lee's point, if they get swept, oh man, that'd be beautiful. So you got to want that just from an emotional standpoint in terms of, just the thrill of just sending them home and sending them packing, and Detroit fans completely reeling. So I feel that.
That's what I'm saying. Emotion, all that X's and O's, and who's the better matchup in the coaching, and the subbing patterns, and I want to beat your ass straight up. Oh man. All right, yo, I love, man. This is probably one of my favorite shows of the year.
This is great, man. Great time.
Oh man. Last question. Since we have talked about these playoffs, I want to get y'all standout playoff moments, and there's been a few. We've broken a lot of records. I think there was a time when we had 83 points at halftime against the Atlanta Hawks. There's been a lot of memorable moments. I want to get y'all memorable moments for these playoffs. If you think of any off the top of your head.
For me, the closeout games stick out. Like, winning closeout games are usually very close games, like, because no one, the other team doesn't want to go home, right? So they're scratching and clawing to stay in these games, and for us to win them in the fashion that we won them and demonstrating a crazy killer instinct is something that I've never seen before. And when I think back to this playoff run, that is what will stick out in my head.
I'll go next. Also, Al, don't forget to ask your question too. The best part of this has been being able and I've said this on a KOT show, I want to share it with SJ. I became a Knicks fan in 2002, right after the peak, right? From 2000, think about 2002, 2020. The absolute hellscape, right? The worst decades in professional sports history, the worst winning percentage from that period of time. I'd say, I think 30% winning percentage, absolute ass. So all I know is losing. All I know is poverty. All I know is pain. And every playoff series was either cardiac Knicks or a massive disappointment like 04 or 2011, right? Or 2021. I've never been able to just enjoy a playoff series. That Philly series, for the first time, Game 4, I put my feet up, change a channel once, right? Start talking to my dad. I play a game of Scrabble on my phone. I wanted to do that on purpose because OKC fans have done that. Spur fans have done that.
Yeah.
Celtics fans have done that. Lakers fans have done that. I'm a Knicks fan. I've never gotten to do that. So maybe my analysis post game was a little worse than it usually was, but damn it, I was having fun. And I'm finally, for the first time in my life as a fan, having fun as a Knicks game. So that's been the absolute best moment of this run so far.
I love that because I'm definitely more of an anxious watcher. You know, the Knicks could be up 20 with like 7 minutes left. I'm like, it's not over. Chill out. Like, we gotta lock in. It's not over. So
Reggie Miller.
Yeah, but I totally I felt no concerns in that Philly series. I was like, even in Game 2 with no Embiid and it was tough and it was tight, I was just like, they're gonna win this game. They're gonna win this series. Like I just have had no concerns. And how often, to your point, Lee, how often do we get to feel like that as like Knicks fans? Like rarely in our history do we get to ever feel that level of comfort in these situations. And so that's rare for me. So I totally feel that. For me, I wouldn't say it's like a moment, but it's just like a statement. I'm a big Karl-Anthony Towns guy, like in terms of like the way that he plays, his effect on the game. And for me, it was that closeout game against Atlanta where he completely dominated the game while taking 4 shots from the field. Like that is completely crazy for Karl-Anthony Towns to go 12, 11, 10, 3 steals, 1 block, like dominate the game, 10 of 10 from the free throw line, taking 4 shots from the field. Like that was just such a display of the power of a guy, of a unique center who can pull guys out of away from the paint, shoot the 3, pass like an elite guard in this league, and to be able to completely dominate a game, be unstoppable, and only having taken 4 shots and made 1 field goal the entire game is like what I love about basketball, right? Like that's just like something I care about a lot. And that was just such an incredible moment. Obviously the entire team played well because they just destroyed the Hawks in that game, but just Towns' performance in there is just so indicative of what he brings to the game, what the Knicks do that's unique that no other team has. And just like that performance was just so fun for me.
Yeah. Yo, Cat could have literally averaged a triple-double during that entire 76er series if he wasn't in foul trouble.
Yeah, true. He played like 23 minutes a game or something like that.
Yeah. I was reading these stats. He's averaged. I think he averaged like 7.5 assists against the 76ers in that series, which is crazy. And I think Lee just posted something in the group chat talking about he has like the highest net rating or something. What did you, Pat? I
don't know what that is. They called it MVP rating. And he was 1, and he was like 0.03 metrics above Victor Wembanyama, who was 2. And I think Brunson was 3, OG was 4, and I think maybe Bridges was 5. But we had like 4 Knicks out of a top 6, which is incredible. And Cat's crazy.
Yeah. So man, Cat's revelation has been just another level. My moments, I actually got like more specific moments. One of my favorite moments, I feel like a lot of them involve Mitch. One is one is just Mitch getting into it with Dyson Daniels.
Yeah.
And getting kicked and getting thrown out during a blowout game. And my favorite moment is not even just the game. My favorite moment was like the day after.
The Instagram post.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
When Mitch posted the singing hamster singing bitch ass. Yeah, that was the greatest thing ever. I was dying. And then the NBA contacts him, finds him. They asked Mitch during like a press conference, "Hey, Mitch, what did the NBA? What did they talk to you about? You remember what they said? He's like, I don't remember anything. I don't know what they were saying.
He said, I wasn't listening.
I wasn't listening. Repost the same post the next day.
That's crazy. Mitch is a wild boy, man.
Favorite Nick.
I love Mitch.
Oh my gosh. So that's for sure. Second, another favorite moment for sure.
The dunk.
The dunk, damn it.
That was
yes.
That was sick.
Nah, for real.
So sick, we make a shirt for it.
Oh yeah, some say you should make a shirt for a dunk like that. Shameless plug. Hold on a second.
Paybacks of Mitch.
Yeah, get that right now. All right, that Paybacks of Mitch shirts on our Etsy page. Right,
that's tough. That is tough.
Yeah, Paybacks of Mitch.
Yeah, we got the premium version for the people who want the thick T-shirt and want to sweat through it. They want it to last longer. We got that for you. And we have the less premium version, but still nice at $26.92. So go ahead and get your Paybacks of Mitch shirts.
Yeah, I copped the royal blue one. I will be rocking that soon. Can't wait.
Absolutely, my favorite moments for sure. I use the favorite moments to plug the shirt. Yes,
seamless. It was seamless.
There you go.
Dope shirt for sure.
Yeah, so people who want sponsors, that's how seamless we are when we sponsor. All right, just go please right into the show. All right, you can go to that link right now and get your shirt if you want to. All right, yo. Great show, guys, man. This is one of my favorite shows of the year.
Al, I want to know what your question is, bro.
We got a question? Oh, go ahead, Al.
All right. So look, I'm an avid watcher of Locked On Knicks, and if anyone else in the chat is as well, you know that these guys have talked about the starting lineup so much throughout the course of the season.
More than anyone.
So I have a hypothetical scenario for you and a lineup question coming from that. So let's say we're playing the Cavs and they're deploying Mobley in the way where they have him roaming off of Josh Hart and they steal game one, right? You know what the discourse is going to be that next day. So what would be do you think that Mike Brown would make a lineup change? And if he does, or if you don't, or if you do or don't believe he will, what would you do? And what would be the lineup change that you?
I know what I would do, but I want to hear Ed say.
I love that. So I don't think Brown would make the lineup change. I think he's proven that he's going to stick with these guys. Sticking with Mikal Bridges in that situation, I think that he's just going to. Now, do I think he's going to pull Josh Hart early in the first? Like, that's the question, and I think that's probably what would happen, and put Deuce McBride in there, forcing that spacing, because then when the Cavs have to inevitably go to a one big lineup, then you put Josh Hart back out there. But I do think the Cavs are uniquely suited to play that, what we call ghost coverage, where, you know, Mobley is just roaming off of Hart. The other thing is, though, like, it's just possible that Josh Hart just shoots and makes the threes. And if he does that, there's no way you can guard this starting lineup. And so the conversation about the starting lineup for us has just always been like, if Josh Hart is tentative, if he is not shooting, if he is not making shots, if he is passing up, he's pumping wide open threes and taking dribbles and then trying to drive the ball, he's just neutralizing the advantage that the defense is giving you, then you have to move in a different direction. And my direction would generally always be Deuce McBride, who is one of the best shooters in the game, can shoot, over contest as one of the best shooters in the game on close contesting of threes. So that's the direction I would go. That being said, if Josh Hart is making threes and has to be respected as a shooter, this is the best 5-man lineup in the NBA. So that's how I feel about it.
Let's go.
Yeah, Josh Hart shooting threes, it changes everything.
Let's go.
I personally, I would go with Mitch. I would go.
Yeah, that's the other lineup with Mitch.
Yeah,
for sure. That's a good option.
Yeah, he's been the guy who's been punishing those bigs since what year did we play him in the playoffs? 2023 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think if you try to sag off, the rebound is ours. The offensive rebounding numbers are going to skyrocket. I don't know. I still feel like they cannot deal with his physicality whatsoever. So, me personally, I would go with Mitch, and I agree. The starting lineup thing. There will be no change in the starting lineup. It'll be early pulls, if anything.
Yep.
Like you said, if Josh Hart is shooting threes, what are you doing with our starting lineup? But go home and cry.
There's no answer. There's no answer.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I think that would obviously. I agree with y'all that he's not changing the starting lineup, but I would go, as SJ said, the Deuce quicker. Deuce is not just probably our best, as SJ has said, him and Jeff many times on the show, all the plus minus and data that backs up him being with the other four starters and not Josh Hart is an argument that I have made and Be the Motivator has made on this show. We've actually referenced you guys on this show when we've talked about
respect
that. For sure. But I also think that if you have Deuce and his three-point shot is even nominal per his historical data, that makes Mobley have to be honest on Karl-Anthony Towns and adjust all their matchups and their ability to adjust as well. If you're playing less hard, even less hard minutes, go down to like 18, say, and you're playing more Mitch or more Deuce or more Shamet, it causes them to have to be a little bit more traditional in their coverage, which then opens up other things for us and for us on offense.
All good points. All good points.
Yep.
And we got a super chat, man. Lee, go ahead.
Man, Jay Buddy, one of the veterans of Knicks Twitter, also just an all-around great dude, a really good man, someone who is, I think, great at building bridges, which is something that I'm trying to be better at in the year 2026 of our Lord and Savior and of our championship year. Jay Buddy gives a $5 super chat. Shout out to the KOT anthem, The Pressure, featuring KOT's own Apollo Reed, as well as Drud's only Steel Bar and a Hoop Radio, Papa Left, and the great legendary Sky Zoo. A bunch of dogs on that list.
Okay.
The best.
Okay, Apollo. Pressure.
And he also says, another $2 super chat, dropping game day, Tuesday, all platforms. Shout out Apollo Reed, KOT's own, man.
Absolutely, man. And shout out to everybody who's watching. I don't normally do this because I don't like breaking flow of the conversation. But if you like the channel, you enjoying the conversation, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We here after every game talking basketball, gonna be here talking about the pre-games and the post-games and the games in between. So if you like our show and you want to continue to rock with us, hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of people in the chat. We got 84 people on YouTube right now. We got 348 people on all platforms together, so which is amazing. Shout out to you guys who rocking with us. If you're on Twitter and you rocking with us, help us retweet. Also, if you really want to support us, subscribe, man. Subscribe. I love the support of you guys watching on Twitter, but YouTube ad money helps us pay for stuff of lights and subscriptions and all that stuff. So if you guys can come over here to the YouTube channel to help us pay for the things to give y'all free shows all the time, I really appreciate you. All right.
I just want to jump in real quick because definitely sub up to the channel. I mean, nobody needs me to say this, but these guys know what they're talking about for sure. This is one of my favorite guest appearances I've done on a show all season for sure, bar none. So I really appreciate you guys, and definitely sub up to the channel. If you like Locked On Knicks, if you like Hot Hand Theory, any of that, I would definitely sub up to these guys. Much respect to all y'all. Y'all really cooked this episode, so this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and
appreciate you, actually.
Definitely sub to if you know Locked On Knicks already. If you don't know Locked On Knicks, then I don't know. But if you haven't, sub to Locked On Knicks, but also sub to Hot Hand Theory. They're doing a great job over there. And you already see homie just freaking cooked. This is probably one of my favorite episodes of the year. I'm not gonna hold you. So I thoroughly enjoyed having XG over here, and definitely got to come back because that was a lot of freaking fun. Right.
Absolutely, blast.
Hell yeah. All right. Damn, I need to be tapped in better, man. For real. All right, yo. That was the show. Thank you guys for watching. XJ, let them know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, you can find me on, as you all said very kindly several times, Hot Hand Theory on YouTube, Locked On Knicks on YouTube. Those are the main places where you can find us, and we drop all types of content on Hot Hand Theory. We do pods, but we also do video essays where we go deep diving into a particular topic for 10 to 15 minutes, dropping some new stuff this week about the Knicks and other teams. So, yeah, find us over there, and we'll be excited to have you.
Absolutely. Well, Al, let them know.
Hey, I'm Al from Harlem on all platforms. I'm really mainly on Twitter and Instagram, and I also do a different show on the Nick of Time show. I do a show called Nick Life Crisis with my co-host Ra, where we talk about fatherhood and Knicks basketball and all the ups and downs of both of those worlds, and we have a lot of fun with it. So definitely check it out if you haven't yet. And we go live from the Nick of Time channel.
Yeah, man, good job yesterday, man. Episode was the 4th episode. The numbers is rising already. So yeah, I appreciate it. You're doing a good job. And Lee, let them know they can find you, sir.
Don't follow me. Follow SJ's co-host, Jeff Rasmussen. Is that pronounced that right, SJ?
Rasmussen. Yep, Jeff's the man for sure.
Yeah, at Jeff GEOFFRASMUSSEN_. He's a co-founder and co-host of Hot Hand Theory, contributor to Versatility, and a great all-around dude. If you enjoy SJ's takes, imagine 2 of them on the same channel talking. But also they talk NBA. They're able to be me, Jay, Al, Ebony. They're able to talk about the entire NBA. They're able to break it down in a way that's really accessible for anyone at any level of basketball knowledge to hop in and grow and become smarter. Also, thank you so much for the Substat support you've been giving me. I've reached record numbers, 30 subscribers in the last 24 hours, over 1,300 views on the 10 ways that Leon Rose built a contender, almost 1,000 views on the top 5 adjustments by Mike Brown in last series. So the support has been insane this last week. I don't know what it is. Just the right alignment of the stars. You guys have really been pumping that Substack. I'm going to continue to give you guys the best analysis I can.
Absolutely. And shout out to new subscribers too. The subscribers have been steadily growing over the last few weeks. I feel like we gained 70 or 80 subscribers over the last 3 weeks.
Nice.
So yeah, shout out to new subscribers and join us too, man. It's gonna be a great run for us. So yeah, yo, that is the show. Thank you guys for watching, and as always,
shout out to Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess
out here in these Knicks streets. That's the show. We out of here. Peace.
York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.